Hello students. In the earlier lecture, we started the atomic structure and we discussed the basic theories and experiments into the atomic structure determination. The first scientific theory that was proposed was by Dalton, who suggested that the atom is indivisible. Okay. So therefore, he suggested that there is no subatomic particles. But the work of Thomson, he was able to discover the presence of electrons by the cathode ray experiment. So he suggested that the positive and negative charges are all like a plum pudding model. They are all mixed together. Further, the work of Rutherford suggested that the mass of the atom is concentrated at the center. That is what is the discovery of the nucleus using the radioactive alpha rays, and that most of the space of the atom is empty. But Rutherford was not able to explain the stability of the atom, so Bohr suggested the electrons revolve around the nucleus in fixed orbits, okay, in fixed orbits or shells or energy levels. As long as these electrons are rotating within these energy levels or within these orbits or shells, they will neither gain energy nor they will lose energy. Okay. So that is the Bohr's model, and we will be continuing with the Bohr's model. The further advancement was the discovery of the neutron. So in today's class we will be covering the discovery of the neutron, because people were observing that the mass of the atom, okay, was not equal to the mass of the proton and electrons. So we will see what it means. So one is the discovery of neutrons, what is atomic number, what is mass number, and what is the electronic configuration, okay, how these electrons are actually arranged around the nucleus. Okay, so that was determined by the Bohr-Bury scheme. So we'll be covering all of this in today's class. Let us start with the discovery of the neutrons. As the name suggests, neutrons, okay, neutral particles. So neutrons were discovered by Chadwick in 1932 using what kind of reaction? Using a nuclear reaction. It was not a chemical reaction, it was a nuclear reaction. You may be able to recollect that Goldstein, what did Goldstein do? Goldstein discovered the protons, right? Protons. What were they? By the canal rays, okay, by canal rays or anode rays, okay. So he discovered the protons, and when we move on further to Rutherford, what did he do? He repeated these experiments, okay, with other gold foil experiment, okay, gold foil, using what? Alpha particle. So what he was able to discover? He was able to discover the nucleus. Okay. So what element he used? He used gold, right? So gold is a very dense metal. It is a big metal, right? It has a very strong nucleus. There are lots of protons in them. But if you do the same experiment with a very light element like beryllium, okay, atomic number is only 4. So hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, only 4, atomic number is 4, and then you bombard it with alpha particle. So here helium, He24 helium. This is nothing but alpha rays, alpha particles. So when you repeat the same kind of experiment that Rutherford did with gold foil on beryllium, what did he get? He got carbon, and he got some particles which were neutral to the electrical or magnetic field. Okay, because you know that electrons, they will attract towards the positive field, and the protons, they will attract towards the negative field. But these neutrons, they were not getting attracted to either the positive or the negative field. So this is how Chadwick was able to discover, using the nuclear reaction, he was able to discover the neutrons. He also determined the mass of the neutron. Okay, mass of the neutron was 1.67 into 10 to the power of minus 24 grams. So when we summarize the properties of all the subatomic particles, okay, what are the subatomic particles? Electron, proton and neutron. Okay, three of them are subatomic particles. Electron was discovered first by Thomson. So how do we denote an electron? We write E for electron. Okay, in the subscript it is written as -1 because it is having negative charge, and mass is 0. We write superscript as 0, or simply some people write E minus. Okay, E minus for denoting a symbol for electron. So charge is -1 charge. What is the mass? 1 by 1840. Okay, so when we are telling that it is almost 2000 times, almost 2000 times, it is less than what? One atomic mass unit. Okay, we will be looking in your earlier chapters atomic mass unit. So it is almost 2000 times smaller than that. Okay, so we say that the mass is negligible. Okay, very less mass. It is coming to 9.1 into 10 power of minus 28 grams. Okay, minus 28. Now electron is nothing but what? It was named by Stanley because these were electricity ions, ions of electricity. Okay, On is coming from ion. Okay, ions of electricity are electrons. Now based upon the similar naming, it was named as proton. Proton. Okay, proton, as you can see, the symbol is hydrogen, H for hydrogen, correct? And in the subscript it is 1, superscript also 1. That means the charge is 1 unit charge, and the mass is also 1 unit mass. Okay, another very simple way is P positive of representing a proton. The charge is +1 unit positive charge, and it is 1 AMU or 1 atomic mass unit. The actual mass is 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 24 grams. Okay, so a proton can be told to be a hydrogen atom. Okay, a hydrogen atom in which you are removing electron. Okay, you remove the electron, so what will happen? Because negative charge has gone, it will become a positive charged particle. Okay, that is nothing but the proton. The next particle is the neutron. Neutron, it is a neutral particle. Okay, so therefore down, charge, unit charge, no unit charge. Mass, the mass is equivalent to that of the proton. You see, it is both of them same, 1.6 into 10 to the minus 24, 1.6 into 10 to the minus 24. Now this is interesting because the charge of the proton and neutron are almost the same. Okay, so together the proton and neutron, we call them as the nucleon. We call it as the nucleon. Okay. So neutron is a zero neutral charge, mass is 1 unit mass. Okay. So this is the summary of the very important three subatomic particles, that is the electron, proton and neutron. Now we are move on to the next very important concept of what is atomic number, what is mass number. So here is a general formula in which X stands for the symbol of the element. Okay. So suppose it is hydrogen, we write simply H. Okay. If it is helium, we write He. Okay. Carbon C. So when we are writing the notation, how do we write? H for hydrogen, down we write the atomic number, okay, and on the top we write the mass number. Okay. So helium, down atomic number 2, okay, it comes second in the periodic table, and mass 4. Okay. So what is written on the top is the mass number, what is written in the subscript, that is the atomic number. Okay. Now the atomic number Z, here it is represented atomic number by Z and mass number by A. So the atomic number is equal to the number of protons in the atom or the number of electrons in the atom. You must remember that atom is a neutral. It does not have any charge, right? Overall charge is 0. If it will lose an electron, then it will gain positive charge. Okay. If it lose a proton, it will gain negative charge. So since the number of protons that are there in the nucleus is equal to the number of electrons that are there in the atom, that is why the atom as a whole is electrically neutral. Okay. So that is the atomic number, which is the number of protons and electrons are same. Mass number is number of neutrons plus number of protons. Okay. So where are the neutrons located in the atom? The neutrons are located in the nucleus. Where are the protons located? They are also there in the nucleus. So neutron and proton both are having same weight. Yes, both are having the same mass. Both are having the same mass. So mass number is nothing but number of neutron plus, sorry, the mass of the neutron plus the mass of the proton. Okay. So when we subtract the mass number with the atomic number, what do we get? Mass number. Mass number is equal to number of neutrons plus number of protons. Okay. So minus Z. Z is also number of protons. So what will you get appending? Because this part is cancelled out, you get nothing but the number of neutrons. Okay. If you subtract this 4 minus 2, you will get 2. That is mass number minus atomic number. So 2 is the number of neutrons. Okay. Now to understand better, let us solve a few questions. We will understand it better. So in page number 63 of your textbook, question number 2, you can please check. So we need to find out what is this PQRS, that is what is the number of neutrons, protons, what is the chemical formula, which is the element, so on. Okay. So let us look at first what is the P. Okay, that is the number of neutrons. So now the element here is sodium, 11 is the atomic number, 23 is the mass number. Okay. So because 11 is the atomic number. Therefore, the number of protons and number of electrons is 11. Correct. What is the number of neutrons? How do we calculate? You see, this is the formula. Number of neutrons. Number of neutrons is equal to 23 minus 11 is equal to 12. Okay. Next, chlorine. Okay, Cl 1735. Okay, we need to find out what are the number of protons. Number of protons, very easy. It is nothing but equal to atomic number, that is 17. Okay. Uranium, what is the symbol? Of course, so the symbol for uranium is U. So then we write what is the, down we have to write what is the atomic number. So atomic number is nothing but equal to number of protons or number of electrons, and then number of neutrons is given 146. Okay, so how do we determine the mass? Mass is equal to what? Number of neutrons, that is 146, plus number of protons, that is 92. Okay, so that becomes 238. Okay, so this becomes the symbol. Okay, next we have to tell what is the element here. Okay, so F stands for fluorine. Okay, F stands for fluorine. Okay, fluorine is a halogen compound. Okay, F stands for fluorine. So in this way we will see a couple of more questions so that you can understand very with these examples what is a mass number, what is the atomic number. So let us solve this question. The atom of an element is made up of 4 protons, 5 neutrons and 4 electrons. What is the atomic number and mass number? So let us say we don't know what is the element. Okay, what we know, it is made up of 4 protons and 4 electrons. That means atomic number will be 4. How many neutrons? 5 neutrons. We need to know what is the mass number. So we will do 4 plus 5 is equal to 9. So 9 is the mass number. Okay, all of you clear? Next, the atomic number and mass number of sodium, okay, sodium are 11 and 23 respectively. So atomic number and mass number is given. What information is conveyed from this statement? So from this we know that there are 11 protons, 11 electrons, correct? And what is the mass number? 23 is the mass number. What is the atomic number? 11 is the atomic number. Okay, and number of neutrons is nothing but 23 minus 11 is equal to 12. 12 is the number of neutrons. Okay, so all this information we are able to get about the mass number, atomic number from this from this information. Okay, next we move on to a very important topic, that is, for any chemical, for any element, we will be able to predict what kind of chemical reaction it can participate. What are the properties of that element? Whether it is a very stable element. All these things we can determine from how the electrons are arranged. Okay. So as you see, as you are seeing here in the Bohr model, this is the Bohr's model of atom, right? In this Bohr model of atom, what we are seeing, how the electrons are arranged around the nucleus. Correct? Now, if we know exactly how these electrons are arranged around the nucleus, then we can predict the properties of that element. So now the question is, how are these electrons arranged? This arrangement, okay, or distribution of these electrons in the different shells, okay, is known as electronic configuration. Okay, electronic configuration means this is the nucleus, this is the orbit. Okay, different orbits are there, K, L, M, N. Okay, like in previous class we have seen there are different orbits. They can be named in this way, or 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. What are different orbits? So in each orbit, how many electrons will be occupied? Okay, how they will be arranged in the next orbit? All these things can be understood from the Bohr-Bury scheme. Okay, how it can be understood? It can be understood from the Bohr-Bury scheme. So what is this electronic configuration? Let us see. The maximum number of electrons in a shell is equal to 2 into n to the power of 2. Okay, that means this is shell number 1, this is shell number 2. So you can keep on going like shell number 3. Okay, so that is, we can say that KLMN, it is also named like this, or 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you want to know how many electrons are there in the first shell, how you can do it? You use this formula, 2n to the power of n. So 2 into, here n is equal to what? 1. 1 to the power of 2. That is nothing but 2 into 1. 1 to the power of 2 is equal to 1. So that is nothing but 2. Okay. So how many electrons are there in first orbit? 2 electrons can be accommodated in the first orbit. Not more than 2 electrons. You cannot take in this energy level, more than 2 electrons cannot come. Okay. What about the second orbit? 2 into 2 to the power of 2. Okay. So that is nothing but 2 into 4. That is the 8. So 8 electrons can be accommodated in this second energy level. Okay, this second energy level, you can have how many electrons? 8 electrons we can have. So what about the third one? 3 to the power of 2. Okay, 3 3s are 9. 9 into 2, 18. 18 electrons. Okay. So in the fourth orbit, how many electrons can be accommodated? So 2 into 4 to the power of 2, that is 2 into 16, that is 32 electrons. So in this way, by using this formula, we can tell how many electrons can be accommodated in each orbit. Okay, that is the first point. Next, shells are filled in stepwise manner. Inner shells filled first. That is, shell number 1 has to be filled up first, then only shell number 2 can be filled. After shell number 2, shell number 3. So innermost shell, the one that is closest to the nucleus, will be filled up first, then only the next shell will be filled up. Okay, the outermost shell should not have more than 8 electrons. Now you see, in shell number 3, okay, in shell number 3, how many electrons it can accommodate? 18 electrons. In number 4, it can accommodate how many? 32 electrons. But when we are filling up the electrons, then here once 8 electrons are filled up, then we should not fill more than 8 electrons in this orbit. Then we have to fill in the next orbit 8 electrons. Then only we can go back and fill in this, in the previous orbit. Okay, we will see the example. Now from the symbol magnesium 12 mass 24, state the mass number, the atomic number and the electronic configuration of magnesium. So what is the mass number? Mass number is 24. What is the atomic number? Atomic number is 12. What is the electronic configuration? So we know that K, L, M, N. These are the 4 orbits that we are interested. As per our syllabus, we are not going to cover the higher atoms. Okay, so up to 20, element number 20 we will cover. So we know that how many maximum? 2, 8, 18, 32. This is the maximum number of electrons that can be filled in each of these orbits. What is the atomic number? It is 12. So first we'll put 2, then 8. So 8 plus 2 is already 10. So next orbit we'll put the 2 electrons. Okay. So what is the electronic configuration? It is a 2, 8, 2. Okay. Similarly, let us solve the next question, that is sulfur has an atomic number of 16. Okay. Sulfur S. Atomic number 16, mass number 32. Okay. State the number of protons and neutrons in the nucleus of sulfur. Number of protons will be equal to nothing but the atomic number, that is 16, and the number of neutrons is equal to mass number minus atomic number. Correct? That is same. Okay, 16. Give a simple diagram to show the arrangement of electrons in the atom of sulfur. So we will draw here the Bohr's atomic model, same with the nucleus. And what are there? What Bohr told, that there are the different orbits, fixed orbits around the nucleus. Correct? So this is orbit number 1. So first we need to write what is the electronic configuration. Okay. Electronic configuration, we have to write the atomic number is 16. So 2, 8 is 10, after that is 6, that is total 16. Correct. So 2 electrons in the first orbit. So maybe we will use another color. Okay. So we will use another color. So this is 1, this 2. In the first orbit there are the 2 electrons. In second orbit there are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 electrons. Okay. 2 and 8, both of these we covered. Then in the third orbit there will be 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this will be the diagrammatic representation of the arrangement of the electrons in the atom of sulfur. So we need to remember that the electrons are not stationary. They are revolving. They are revolving around the nucleus. Okay, they are in constant motion. Next question. Write down the electronic configuration of the following. Okay. So this is the 13. So 13 means 2, 8, 3. Okay. And for 17 it will be 2, 8, 7. Okay. This is for X and this is for Y. Write down the number of electrons in X. How many electrons will be there? The atomic number is 13. So number of electrons will be equal to atomic number, that is 13. Same thing for Y. Number of electrons will be equal to 17, which is the atomic number. And mention the number of neutrons. Okay. So number of neutrons is equal to 27 minus 13. Okay. 7 minus 3, 4. Okay. And here the number of neutrons will be 35 minus 17. Okay. So the number of neutrons is nothing but you are subtracting the mass number with the atomic number. Correct? So as part of your homework, please solve all the questions in exercise 4B and revise the today's lecture from the textbook. Okay, thank you.